press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hi students, we have started the discussion on vector algebra. We come to know what quantity we call it as a vector, and we started the vector addition. The law of triangle of vector addition, parallelogram law of vector addition we come to, along with the geometrical methods. We also goes the analytical equation where gives you the resultant of two vectors A and B making an angle theta. So completing the parallelogram, and this gives you the resultant R, where alpha is the angle made by the resultant with respect to one of the vectors A. We have the relation for that. The one resultant R magnitude has got equation R root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. One relation. And similarly the direction alpha equal to tan inverse of B sin theta upon A plus B cos theta, where alpha is the angle made by R with respect to A, R with respect to A, the angle given that. And special cases I have taken in the last class. The maximum, we got one relation, R maximum equal to A plus B, when both are acting in the same direction. Second also got R minimum equal to A minus B, when theta is 0, or here theta equal to 180 degree. Maximum value of resultant and minimum value of resultant. So under compoundo and dividend rule we can write, before going to the others, R maxima by R minima can be written as A plus B by A minus B, which can help you to get A by B is equal to R maxima plus R minima divided by R maxima minus R minima. The important relation, maxima value, minimum value, from which A and B can be got using this relation. And further, I take the special case if A equal to B, vector A equal to B equal to A, vector A, then what happens to the resultant? If you see here, root of A square plus 2A into A into A is A square cos theta. A square plus 2A square cos theta. So that is here 2AB is also become A square. A square plus A square is can be written as 2A square plus 2A square cos theta, or I can bring out A out of this, and 2 into 1 plus cos theta can be obtained. You bring 2 out, A square completely out of the square root, 1 plus cos theta can be written as square root of 2 into 1 plus cos theta by 2. 1 plus cos theta by 2 is 2 cos square theta by 2. 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2 is cos square theta, or 1 plus cos theta is 2 cos square theta by 2. So if you simplify this, the resultant you got is, magnitude of the resultant is 2 coming out, 2a cos theta by 2 is the answer got on. This is the case when a equal to b is the value. Similarly, let us go to this alpha angle. What happens to the angle? Alpha is equal to tan inverse or tan, I write tan alpha better. I take tan alpha. Tan alpha equal to, instead of b I write a sin theta by a plus a cos theta, which become a cancels, sin theta divided by a cancelled 1 plus cos theta. We return 1 plus cos theta is 2 cos square theta by 2. Therefore, I can write this as sin theta. And if I sin a plus b is 2 sin theta by 2 and cos theta by 2. The trigonometric relations, sin a plus b, theta by 2 plus theta by 2. Sin a plus b is sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. When both are same, can be written as 2 sin a cos a divided by, here you got this 1 plus cos theta can be written as 2 cos square theta by 2. 1 cos theta cancels. What finally you got is tan alpha equal to tan theta by 2. Tan alpha, because sin theta by 2 cos theta by 2 remains. 1 cos theta by 2 cancels, 2 cancels. Here tan cancels, which suggests angle equal to theta by 2. Exactly divides the angle, bisect the angle between the two vectors. If a equal to b, resultant will pass between them, bisecting the angle, equally shares either side the angle. Divide the angle, alpha equal to theta by 2 and r equal to 2a cos theta by 2. This relation we have 1 plus cos theta by 2 is equal to cos square theta by 2 relation we followed. Trigonometric function. And this sin of a plus b can be written as sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. Both are same, theta by 2, theta by 2. Therefore, I return 2 times. Sin theta by 2, cos theta by 2, cos theta by 2, sin theta by 2. Same. Therefore, it is 2 sin theta by 2, cos theta by 2. 1 plus cos theta written as 2 cos square theta by 2. Here also 2 cos square theta by 2. Using these trigonometric relations, I showed when a equal to b. I hope you have followed this clearly. Simplification, substituting wherever b a, when a equal to b, 2a cos theta by 2 is the resultant, alpha is equal to theta by 2 is the angle made. What happens to special cases? I come in under this. Now we come to know when a equal to b equal to a, resultant become 2a cos theta by 2 and alpha is equal to theta by 2 happens. Under that, take first case. So that is theta equal to 0 degree. When theta equal to 0, cos 0 is 1, r become maximum equal to 2a because cos 0 is 1 and alpha is 0. That means both have equal magnitude. When they joined here, I shifted this a and a magnitude will be doubled, 2a. And alpha 0 act in the same direction. Second case, when theta equal to 180 degrees or minimum equal to 0, because cos 180 by 2, cos 180 by 2 is cos 90, cos 90 is 0. So that means alpha 0, no magnitude, arbitrary direction. No magnitude, no direction means arbitrary. Coming to third, theta equal to 90 degree or is equal to, see when I substitute here 90, 90 by 2 is 45, cos 45 is 2a into 1 by root 2, or this can be written as root 2a. When angle antiguity, both vectors are equal vectors, angle between them is 90, then resultant is root 2a and alpha is equal to 45 degrees because 90 by 2 is 45 degrees. So fourth one, theta equal to 60 degree. When theta is 60, 60 by 2 is 30, cos 30 is root 3 by 2. That is 2a into root 3 by 2. Suggest root 3a. If the angle between the two vectors is 60 degree and both are equal, then alpha equal to 30 degree. Angle between the vectors become 30. If angle between the vectors is 60, resultant with a become 30 and root 3a. Similarly, theta equal to 120 degree or is equal to 2a. 120 by 2 is 60. That cos 60 is half equal to a. Very important, or become equal to a. When the two equal vectors are making an angle 120 degree, bisect the angle resultant passes and value of resultant is equal to value of one of the vectors. R equal to a at 120 degree happens, alpha is equal to 60 degree. So these are very important cases we apply in physics in many cases, where both vectors have same, both physical quantities have same magnitude, they are vectors, but they may be acting parallel, anti-parallel, orthogonal, or at 60 degree or at 120 degree. So if they are parallel, vector become maximum equal to 2a. If they are anti-parallel, then become 0. If orthogonal perpendicular to each other is root 2a. If angle 60 degree is root 3a. And if it is 120 is a itself. Resultant equal to one of the vectors value. Angle bisects. In those two cases it is 0. But orthogonal become 45, 60 become 30 and 120 become 60 degrees. Most important, in addition part we have taken, we discuss the complete rules including resolution of vectors going for application level. The problem sections I come later. First I hope we are followed. Last class we have derived the expression for this, the magnitude and resultant expression, and also these cases I have taken without a equal to b. Today we discussed what happens when both vectors are having same magnitude and directions may differ. And most importantly, remember these: 2a, 0, root 2a for 90, 60, root 3a, 120 is a itself. And also compounder and dividend rule follow it clearly. These are important terms. With this knowledge, I enter to subtraction of vectors, because I let their resolution of vectors have used to add the vectors. I come to that part, and equilibrium condition and comes, I come to the Lami's theorem. Let us see, have a glance on it. Let come to the finally to subtraction of vectors. Second operator, we are going to see subtraction of vectors. So it is a very simple rule. If you understood the addition operator correctly, vector algebra, then subtraction is more simple. So just numeric or notation wise, if I take, if we have the two vectors A and B, if I want to subtract A minus B, mathematically I can write A plus of minus B, which is a resultant vector R. Subtracting vector B from A, subtracting vector B from A is nothing but addition of vector, negative vector of B. Addition of negative vector to first one which is to be subtracted. Which vector you want to subtract, take its negative vector and add with the first one. That gives you the subtraction of vector. All the laws, triangle law, parallelogram law, tip-tail method, anything you applied holds good. Only you have to just not A plus B. It is A plus of minus B, where B is the vector I have to subtract from A. How this is? Let go with the geometrical method. Let us consider the vector A. I have to subtract with B. I have to subtract B with A as I shown here. So let us take, this is the vector A, I transferred here. Vector B is like okay. If I take the vector another opposite to it, parallel and opposite to this, magnitude same, this called as a minus B. It is B but it is minus B. So usually this is a tip and this is the tail. I can apply the tip tail method. So what happens here, I take this A as it is. Just you shift this and slide downward slowly. So this is the negative vector B. I slide it downward. I shifted from that position to here. What is the angle? If imagine to be here, the angle is theta. With respect to B, if I joined, it is theta. Suppose if I joined here A, with respect to B, the angle between them is theta. If I shifted and joined here. But I am now this angle saying it is pi minus third theta, because total angle is pi, right? Now complete or shift this, because tip tail method, it is a tail, it is also tail. Tip of the first vector joined to the tail of the second. Therefore, I take this vector to this position, B. Now, tip of the second, tail of the first to be joined. This gives you the resultant R. Now nothing but this is A. This is a resultant vector. What is the angle between the two vectors means? Now not theta. Angle between A and minus B is pi minus theta or 180 minus theta. So remaining everything is same. That means if you want the resultant of two vectors, that A minus B as R, A minus B are R, magnitude of R magnitude of R is equal to root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos, what is the angle I have to take? Not theta, but I have to take 180 minus theta. Cos 180 minus theta is cos theta, but it is in the second quadrant. I told 180 plus or minus theta, function not changes, remains same, cos as cos. But 180 minus theta is the second quadrant, cos function is negative, therefore it is minus cos theta. Then I can write R is equal to root of a square plus b square plus, sorry, now I made it as minus 2ab cos theta. Now this is the expression for resultant of two vectors subtraction. When I subtract vector b from a minus b is a r whose magnitude is given by this. Coming to direction, again I am taken alpha is the angle made by a with respect to r making angle with a. Tan alpha equal to, that I can write b sin of 180 minus theta by a plus b cos 180 minus theta. What happens to this alpha value? Tan alpha is sin 180 minus theta is sin theta. But you know, in the second quadrant it is positive, therefore remains as b sin theta divided by a plus b cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta, therefore I have to write it as a minus b cos theta. See, this is the expression for magnitude. This is the expression for magnitude, and this is the angle made by the resultant with respect to a in subtraction of vectors. I am subtracting vector b with respect to a. Vector b with respect to a, this is the resultant I got. If I take this b here, addition comes, that goes in that direction. Now we are discussing on subtraction, no confusion. Coming to this, subtraction of a vector is nothing but addition of negative of the vector with the first one, which you want to subtract. You take the negative of that vector and add with the first one. That is what geometrically we did, and even analytically if I derive, taking instead of theta as pi minus theta, because angle between a and minus b. So we got a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta, where theta is the angle between a and b. Theta is angle between a and b, where really this I have to get here, but it becomes a square plus b square. Instead of plus, if you use minus 2ab cos theta. And here also theta same, where angle between a and b, not a and minus b. Theta is angle between a and b. B sin theta upon a minus b cos theta I had to follow. Let us come to the special cases, as we have seen in case 1 derivation which we taken earlier, we extended here for subtraction, and now we are going to see the special cases, what happens. Let us see for different angles. So vector A minus B equal to R, magnitude r equal to root of a square plus b square minus 2ab cos theta and direction alpha equal to tan inverse of b sin theta upon a minus b cos theta is relation got. So similarly we can discuss, I take the special case if vector A equal to vector B, what happens to R? Magnitude, taking the square root, a square plus a square minus 2a into cos theta, or this can be written as root of 2a square minus 2a square into cos theta. This a can be brought out into root of 2 into 1 minus cos theta. Similarly, 1 minus cos theta by 2 is equal to sin square theta by 2. As we have taken in the previous case, 1 plus cos theta by 2 is cos square theta by 2. 1 minus cos theta by 2 is sin square theta by 2. If I substitute here, a into 2 into sin square theta by 2. This become resultant equal to 2a sin theta by 2. Now if a equal to b, the value of resultant become 2a sin theta by 2. This is most important. Similarly, we can discuss the angle. Only the magnitude I show, that is more than enough in these cases to understand the subtraction. Now coming to the special cases, under this, taking this as a reference, even with that can do. If angle, now first condition is a equal to b equal to a and theta equal to 0 degree, first case. When theta is 0, sin 0 is 0. Sin 0 is 0, then resultant becomes 0, not at all. When theta equal to 180 degree, theta 0 means how? A and B. See, we have taken A and also B, which is equal to A. But when I make minus B, when I add here minus B, equal magnitude, mutually cancel, theta 0, AB is 0, AB is 0, but minus B opposite cancels. 180 degree, if you take 180 degree, 180 by 2 is 90, 180 by 2 is 90, therefore it is, sin 90 is 1, 2A. This is minimum value. Here it is maximum equal to 2a. Now reversed. In case of addition, when angle between them is 0, r is maximum 2a. Here 180, angle is between them is 180, 2a maximum. When theta is 0, minimum. When they act in opposite direction, a minus b means both are having same magnitude and same direction, relative becomes 0. Relative displacement, relative force, or anything you measure relative velocity, everything becomes 0. But if they act in opposite direction, minus of minus become plus. That means here, if I take vector A in that direction, actually vector B is in the opposite direction, but minus B is in the same direction. When gets added A, this minus A, that A and A both together become 2A. Minus of minus, that become added. Then coming to theta equal to 90 degree. Theta 90 is 45 sin 45. Sin 45 is 1 by root 2. 2a by root 2 or r is equal to root 2a. No difference in both cases here. When an orthogonal both are, whether addition or subtraction, you get the magnitude same, root 2a. And acting theta equal to 60 degree. 60 by 2 is 30, sin 30. Sin 30 is half. 2a into half, that r is equal to a. See this reversed. If you are finding a minus b, if angle between the two vectors is 60 degree, then resultant is equal to one of the vectors. If you take 120 degree, then r is equal to 120 by 2 is 60, 2a into root 3 by 2 gives you r is equal to root 3a. So these are possible values we see when two vectors of same magnitude subtracting one from another. If angle between the two vectors is 0, then mutually cancel. When angle between them is 180 degree, added up 2a, 90 degree root 2a, 60 degree r equal to a itself, 120 degree root 3a, we get it. So remember, subtraction is only a special case of addition of negative vector to the first one which is to be subtracted. That if I want to subtract b, I have to add the negative of b to a. And conditions and equations we come to know. Only to come to the comfort zone we explained these data. But the law must be known correctly, subtraction of vectors. With this I go to the next part. Before that we have learnt two operators, addition operator. This addition operator is similar to this, subtraction is similar to addition. What changes you followed correctly, and equations instead of plus here it become minus. Even in case of here a plus b cos theta in addition, here a minus b cos theta. At two stages in analytical equations changes when it comes to subtraction of one vector with another. I hope you are followed, but one thing you remember, I showed commutative law holds good in case of addition. Associative law also holds good in case of addition. That does not hold good in case of subtraction. That also remember before going to the conclusion. Subtraction operator is right. In commutative, a plus b equal to b plus a. A plus of b plus c is equal to a plus b of plus c. Associative law and commutative law holds good in case of addition, but it does not be so. That means a minus b may not be equal to b minus a. That is not true. Commutative law is not hold good in subtraction. Or a minus b of minus c may not be equal to a minus b minus c. That is not holds good. That is what commutative law and associative law are not obeyed in, or subtraction of vectors does not obey the commutative and associative law, but addition obeys this. Now in this I am coming for condition of equilibrium. Suppose if we have a body under the application of a force. Force is a vector, remember, force is a vector. When I apply the force F1, the body can, equilibrium means under action of vectors. Better to follow, any force is a vector, therefore a physical quantity taken, force, when I apply a force on a body, then it will be displaced under the action of force. If it is not displacing by various forces acting in different directions or in anyway, then we say the body is in equilibrium or the forces keep the system in equilibrium or body in equilibrium. I taken the word of equilibrant in the previous discussion of vectors types. So equilibrium means body at rest should remain at rest, single body, single force, that means a vector, cannot keep body or bring body to in or at rest. It cannot keep the body at rest in equilibrium condition. It cannot keep the body in equilibrium condition. Body will move. Single force fails to keep it in equilibrium. But in a plane, if F2 if I applied, suppose in a plane, there are two options. One, two equal vectors enough to bring the body to rest, keep the body in equilibrium, under the action of these vectors or the forces. Minimum two are enough if those two are equal vectors. Two equal vectors keep the body in equilibrium, that can keep that body in equilibrium. In a plane, they are coplanar vectors, that is what called coplanar vectors. In a plane, under coplanar vectors, minimum unequal vectors, minimum required is 3. Minimum 3 vectors or 3 forces necessary to bring to equilibrium. Plane same. Suppose their F1 is not equal to F2. F1 equal to F2 enough to keep the body in equilibrium. If F1 is not equal to F2, where they play coplanar, then a third force I have to apply F3 in some other direction, that under the action of these 3 vectors, body can come to equilibrium. Unequal vectors, minimum vectors necessary to bring the body in equilibrium is 3 in a coplanar vectors. If the vectors are coplanar, unequal, keep the body equilibrium, minimum vectors necessary is 3. Coplanar vectors, 2 equal vectors, they are equal vectors, then minimum required is 2. 2 equal vectors enough to bring the body to equilibrium. Single force or vector cannot keep the body in equilibrium. And also third, non-coplanar vectors. Non-coplanar vectors, they are not in a common plane. Minimum vectors required is 4. This minimum you remember, sometimes it is a direct question appearing in entrance. How many vectors are the forces necessary to keep the body in equilibrium? Behind that they use some terms. Can a single vector and a force keep the body in equilibrium means no. Can 2 forces can keep the body in equilibrium? May be possible. They must be coplanar and they must be equal in magnitude but act in opposite direction. If the 2 vectors are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction and in the same plane, remember here, coplanar, equal magnitude opposite direction, then minimum two vectors enough to keep the body in equilibrium. One cancel the other and body comes to equilibrium. If they are coplanar, unequal magnitude, what is the number of vectors required minimum is equal to 3. Under 3 vectors minimum, we can try to bring the body to equilibrium. If it is non-coplanar vectors, forces are not in one plane, one of that may be out of plane, then we need minimum 4 vectors to keep the body in equilibrium. This first I brought this knowledge to you, and we have studied little bit about the equilibrium condition while discussing the vectors addition. Triangle law, we have taken that. Total effect of the vectors on a body becomes 0, means then body will remain at the position where it is. Suppose you have the vector A and vector B. We taken the addition operator. So when we taken the another vector, maybe for example C, vector A join tail to tip of this to the other B. Then take the vector C, tip of that connected to the tail of the other and join to this. Now when I added these three, vector A plus vector B plus vector C, started from A reached B and B to C, C to A, then we come to the same point, means net effect becomes 0, is a null vector. Null vector we have shown in that, suppose this AB, vector AB, plus this is BC, plus this is CA, equal to what happens? You can cancel here, B to B, C to C, B to B cancel, C to C cancel, what is remained is A to A. A to A means magnitude is 0, therefore it is a null vector. Null vector means body comes to equilibrium. Now the losses condition of triangle of equilibrium. Triangle law of equilibrium. What says? If the given vectors are represented as 3 sides of the triangle, both in magnitude and direction, in the same order, then the system is under equilibrium. Or if the 2 sides of the triangle are in one order, the closing side also comes in the same direction, the system or the particle or the body comes to equilibrium. If it is in the opposite direction, then it becomes a resultant. I think you are followed. Same direction, the closing side, it become equilibrium. And this vector I can call against A plus B is a equilibrium. It is equilibrium because A plus B plus C, A plus B is equal to minus C because it is a null vector. Minus C I can write here like this. This is minus C taken in the opposite direction. What it represents is nothing but the resultant of the two, A plus B. If taken in the opposite direction, it becomes resultant. Same order comes closing side, it becomes equilibrium. That is what's called C is a equilibrium. C is a equilibrium. R is a resultant. So resultant Equilibrant is minus indicates it is opposite to the resultant. It is opposite to the resultant and have the same magnitude. Always we say resultant, equilibrant is always equal and opposite to the resultant. So if you know the resultant, we can get the value of equilibrant, magnitude same, direction is opposite, that is shown in the law of triangle of vector addition. Even we can go for the polygon law of vector addition as the same polygon law. Of equilibrium. Suppose the vectors A and another vector is B and third vector is C and fourth one is D. Let us add similarly from tip to tail method. A, tail to tip, join this B. Now this become B, tail to tip. Tip, then take C for example. So this C tail to tip, then a D, so like this D tip. Now we reached here. Now if I taken this as a equilibrant, if I taken this in the opposite direction, that become a resultant, only change. If this closing side, if I represented A, B, C, D, E, EA is equilibrant, AE is resultant, opposite in direction. So when we join the vectors in one order, a single vector can replace. These are all acting in different directions on the body. But if I replace all these vectors with a single vector or a single quantity, force, which can replace all these, then we call it as a resultant, which can do the same work as that of all together do. Suppose opposite to the resultant in the same direction I introduce a vector. It is equivalent to all these because it can bring the body under the action of all these to equilibrium. It has same magnitude but opposite in direction, therefore it will bring to equilibrium condition. That is what simply in physics at this stage what necessarily I taken. Details we will study in the mathematics about the equilibrium conditions and all the subtraction and addition of vectors. To the need of physics and what is in your syllabus we have taken here. It is about polygon law or it may be parallelogram law, equilibrium, and now coming to along with triangle law, you come to know all the three vectors are represented as three sides of a triangle, both in magnitude and direction are in the same order. Then we say under the action of these vectors the body is in equilibrium. Now I come to the Lami's theorem. And even with the help of force in the physics part, not from the pure mathematics, let us think the force F1 is acting from A to B and the force F2 from B to C and C to A is a F3 acting on a body. Now they are all in one direction. Keep the body in equilibrium. For equilibrium of this condition is F proportional to the corresponding side. F proportional to AB, F2 proportional to BC, F3 proportional to CA. Or I can write F by F1 by AB, F2 by BC and F3 by CA always holds good. If this condition is satisfied, then they keep the body in equilibrium. It's the important relation with respect to the physics concerned. If the forces are giving of this type, the corresponding force by the force by corresponding side, F1 by AB, F2 by BC and F3 by CA always remains the same. Any comparison we can get some values. Coming to the second as the Lami's theorem. So the three forces act like this. Now this is the force A, maybe F1, F2 and F3. F1 opposite is alpha, F2 opposite, the angle between other two vectors is a beta, F3 angle between the other two as gamma. First I show this represents a closing triangle, because we can transfer this as it is and can write here as F1, and this can be replaced as it is as F3, F2 in the opposite direction. See, they are in one order. Confirmedly I can say they are in equilibrium. As like here, F1 if I noted as ABC, F1 by AB, F3 by BC, F2 by AC, whole square. Also here, under Lami's theorem statement is that force is directly proportional to sine of the angle between the other two. F2 is proportional to sine beta, F3 proportional to sine gamma. This should satisfy. We can prove this, but I am not going to that one. Only importance necessarily for physics and what is in the syllabus. This much knowledge is enough here. In the maths, when you study vectors, you will prove this one. F1 by sine alpha, F2 by sine beta, F3 by sine gamma is a constant. Those ratios will be constant. Helpful relations, either it may be law of triangle keeping body in equilibrium or Lami's theorem. F1 by sine alpha, angle between other two. F1 by sine of the angle between other two vectors. F2 by sine of the angle between other two vectors, beta, sine beta. F3 by sine of the angle between other two vectors, sine gamma. F1 by sine alpha, F2 by sine beta, F3 by sine gamma is always a constant. This using either triangle or any polygon, if the closing side comes in the same order, become equilibrium and system remains in equilibrium under the action of all these vectors or the physical quantities. Under Lami's theorem or in triangle law, I showed you two important relations which are very important, which will be used in many problems in physics. Let us come to the other part. Have a glance, we come back to that. So the third important concept in vector algebra is the resolution of a vector. Resolution is a process in which we are going to get the magnitude of the given vector in a desired direction. That means finding the magnitude of a vector in required direction or desired direction. In what direction we require, we are going to get its value. Such vector which got in the desired direction, we call it as a component. Component of the given vector. Component of given vector. This component of given vector, that means set of components, can give you the given vector when suitably added. Resolved components, sometimes also called as resolved components of the given vector. These components, if I take a vector, for example, A is acting in some direction. Preferably the process is, if I want its component along x direction, I want to know what is the angle between the two first. Then I drop the normal from the tip of the vector to the direction. Now this magnitude gives you the vector in this called as x component of vector A. Component of A along x direction. Adjacent side by hypotenuse. You want adjacent side is cos theta. So if I call it as AX, now you can write AX by A is cos theta, or can write as AX is equal to A cos theta. This A cos theta, I am calling it as a component of A along x direction. If I want along the y direction, so I can drop similarly the normal to this point. Alternate angles, you know these two. This is also theta. Now for this theta, alternate angles there. Theta opposite. Otherwise I can bring this here and this may be called as AY. Shift is possible. Translation of vectors we learned. Or you can take here only. Adjacent side by opposite side by hypotenuse. Theta opposite side by hypotenuse is sin theta. And AY called as A sin theta. This is called component of the given vector A along y direction. But AY and AX, in this case, angle between AY and AX are 90 degree. Therefore, here in this case, angle between two vectors, in this case AX and AY, angle between two vectors is 90 degree. Then we are calling as orthogonal vectors, orthogonal components or rectangular components of a given vector. Rectangular components of the given vector AX and AY are called as. So this process what we did is called as a resolution of a vector. In words, finding the effect of the given vector in the desired direction is called resolution of a vector. Such a magnitude with direction we got, we call it as a resolved components. resolved components, if they are mutually perpendicular, as we show here along x and along y, we call it as a resolved components or rectangular components perpendicular to each other. So suitably when added them, we will get the vector A. This just concept of vector resolution I introduced here. Let us see the remaining. So details, just we come to know ay and ax. Component of vector along x direction is ax cos theta, a cos theta, along ay is a sin theta. And also you come to know the unit vector, along it is I, along it is j. For this, how to write the vector a here is axi plus ayj can be written, or a cos theta I plus a sin theta j. Either way we can write this. It gives a vector. If we want a magnitude of this, magnitude of a, then root of ax square plus ay square. If we want a direction, that nothing but tan theta. How you get tan theta is opposite side by adjacent side, ay by ax. This just from the vector we can get the components, and when we add the components we will get a given vector. A cos theta I plus a sin theta j gives you a. Magnitude required ax square plus ay square. Because if you did, you will come to know. Because if I take here root of a cos theta is a square cos square theta plus a square sin square theta. You can bring a out. This is 1 because cos square theta plus sin square theta is 1, we get a. And ay by ax, ay is a sin theta, a cos theta. A sin theta by a cos theta, sin theta by cos theta is tan theta, a get cancelled. So with this I conclude today just what is meant by resolution of vectors. We understood finding the component of vectors, finding the effect in any given direction, and how to get the vector. If you know the components, how can get the vector and its magnitude and direction. So remaining resolution of vectors, how addition can be done with this resolved components, we will see in the next video. Thank you.